Be sure to pick up your copy of Football Game Plan's 2023 Draft Guide. Over 1,000 individual scouting reports. It's the largest draft guide in existence. It's the industry standard. Get your PDF copy today at footballgameplan.com/2023 Draft Guide. Everyone's journey to the top is different, and for Troy's Shakel Brown, his journey through junior college, through the Sun Belt Conference, through Troy University has now led him to the doorstep of the NFL Draft. And we're now joined here with Shakel Brown of Troy University, a Troy Trojan from the Sun Best Conference, as I like to say. Shakel, I thank you for taking time today talking shop.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Doing all right, man. Let's just dive right into it, because I feel like after watching your film, you're one of the more underrated defensive tackles in this whole draft class. And I feel like you've been battle tested, and not just to continue to, carry the flag for the Sun Belt Conference, but talk a little bit about how that conference in particular, how you've been battle tested up front, but what you faced over the course of your career. You got Louisiana, you got Georgia State, a lot of programs that have very good offensive lines. How have you been able to develop within the Sun Belt Conference?
That conference is a great conference, man. Sometimes, because we're a group of 5 conference, we get overlooked a lot. But it's definitely a great conference, great players. We have some starters in the league at almost every position. So it's definitely not a conference that could get overlooked, but it definitely developed me into, a great player. There's not a lack thereof at no position in the Sun Belt. Definitely at the O-line and D-line. We have guys that come out every year. But definitely playing in that, it definitely developed my game into a great way. I'm getting a lot of interest from a lot of different scouts. So, obviously playing in the Sun Belt, worked out for me. So, yeah, yes, sir.
This is interesting, because when you think about the national landscape of how people talk about football, they tend to talk about high school recruiting. Then they'll focus on, the Power 5. Now they're focusing on the transfer portal, and then they focus on guys going to the NFL. You had a unique journey. You had to go the Juco route before you came into college football. What's the mindset that you guys have to have at Juco ball before you jumped into Group of 5 ball, FBS ball? And how big of a gap was it to make that transition?
So for me, I just thought of it as a second chance. I was getting a second chance, to play the game that I love. And I didn't want to let myself down, my family down, or anybody like that. So I definitely went in with a mindset of like, this is my last shot, so let me give it my best shot. So I had a different type of hunger when I'm going out there on the field, when I'm out there at junior college, when I gotta eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at night for my dinner, when I'm thinking like that, when I gotta wash my own clothes, when I gotta do stuff like that to make sure I could practice the next day, or sometimes buy your own cleats. Luckily I was at a place that I didn't have to buy my own cleats. At least they gave me cleats. But the transition was kind of easy for me, as far as like, being able to work hard and things like that. That was the easy part. But the transition of like the speed of the game was definitely different. Everyone on that level is, great players. They're scholarship players, and they're guys that, they go out and recruit these guys. So these guys, they're pretty good. You're not the best one on the team, how it would be in high school or at most JUCOs. But the transition as far as like on the field was a little rough in the beginning, kind of, but I quickly got it though, and I was able to perform on the field.
Usually when we talk about defensive linemen, people focus completely on the edge rushers, but you guys on the interior, you guys do most of the work throughout the whole game. Walk me through your process in preparing for game day, because I know as a running back, okay, let me see what the linebackers like to do. Let me see what type of fronts they use in certain down and distance situations. But what's that preparation like for a defensive tackle?
So for me, I can speak for me. So I will, like, starting off the week, coming up to it, we play on Saturday. So starting like Sunday or Monday, I would definitely look at like, okay, in the run game? Is this guy like a guy that wants to get his hands on me? Is this a guy that just want to get in the way? I would look at his steps, like which way is he going to step? If it's zone this way, is he going to bucket step? If is he gonna step right down? Like which ways he's going to do this? And then in the past, I want to know if this guy is he a straight shooter? Is he a high shooter? Or is he like a guy that just like to clamp and grab outside? So you would want to look at all these things so you can know and be able to prepare yourself. Like, okay, this week I know if this guy is like a straight shooter, I could swipe anything, or if this guy's a low hand shooter, I could cross chop or something like that. But definitely watching film, definitely like working on the pass rushes that I'm going to do that week. Trying to pinpoint these things each week and making sure I know in this guy's stance, if he light on his feet, on his heels or anything, then I know he's pulling, or if it's something like that, if it's a gap scheme team type of team. But definitely those things right there is what I normally do to prepare myself. Film and just watching the guys that I know I'm going to be going against for sure.
It's interesting because what I love about the Sun Belt Conference is the teams don't shy away from challenges outside of the conference. So you're likely to see a lot of different teams and a lot of different schemes and offenses. From a defensive perspective, which is the most challenging, in terms of the type of run scheme you face? Is it the option game, or is it zone, or is it power? Which one for you forces you to kind of lock in and be engaged down in, down out?
It's definitely the option teams, man. You just never know where the ball gonna be. So it'll be just crazy. Sometimes he'll pull it, sometimes he'll zone read it. Sometimes like it's so many different things that they could do. So you have to sit and you have to read your keys at all times, just so you don't look crazy out there. And those are hard fought games. Normally when it's an option team, they running the ball 98% of the snaps, they're not going to throw the ball. So those are definitely games that you have to prepare yourself for, get in the cold tub before and after the game, to prepare yourself for a real fight. Just feel like, got hit by a truck after those type of games. Those definitely like the more tougher games.
No one asks you guys this because I feel like people so focus on certain positions when they want to talk ball. But when you, as a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman, you see outside noise or people criticizing your position, or why this guy didn't do this. What's one of the biggest misconceptions about interior defensive line play that you want to dispel right now?
That that we don't really work, man. Like a lot of the guys, they feel like we don't really do much. They feel like we just, because I always get into it with like the receivers or stuff like that, cornerbacks. They be like, man, y'all practice is easy. I be like, man, I'm hitting every single play. Y'all guys, you guys barely touching anybody. Like 40 of the time, y'all not touching nobody. But it's definitely a thing of like that. We're not working. We don't have to run far. Man, sometimes I got to stick a foot in the ground, and and I got to run 20 yards. That's not normal for me, most times. But it's definitely that right there, that we don't really work down there, that we don't really do much. Our practices hard, our game shouldn't be that hard. But yeah, we have to run, man. At 300 pounds, I'm 295. Got to run down a 180 pound 4-3 guy, So that'd be difficult sometimes for me, man. Got.
I always used to laugh at the receivers. I used to like, man, I feel bad for y'all, man. At least I know when I'm getting the ball, y'all be out there doing cardio, like y'all just running for your life,
Yes, sir.
Now, going like breaking down your game and knowing what you do well. For those that may not be familiar, what game specifically would you point to and say, hey, check this game out? Because this tell you everything I bring to the table as a prospect.
It would definitely be the UTSA game, the last bowl game that we had of the season in 2022. I felt I left it out all on the field, man. My first snap I got a sack, and I could bring that to any team. I could bring power. As far as like in the run game, I feel like I'm a run stopper as well. I feel like I have great hands, at the point of attack. The way our defense played just kind of was like a more read and react type of team. But I can play either way. I can attack. I can read. I can do whichever one. I could play any position in that game. I played all positions. I played in. I played 3 technique, and I played nose. That's what I did all season. But that game UTSA. We won the bowl game, went 12-2. Finished the season all right. Beat the Raging Cajuns too. Just saying,
hey, man.
Beat those guys, and we won the Sun Belt championship this year. But definitely the UTSA game for sure.
Now, and it's good because that game also kind of shows what you do from a mental standpoint, because you know how UTSA play. They won't go fast. They won't go up tempo. They got an athletic quarterback in Frank Harris. They want to get the ball out quick, so it challenges you mentally to lock in and to be able to get him on the ground right away. What was big, and so going into that matchup, is it a little bit unique because hey, this is going to be my last game. This is
Yeah.
a big game. This is a bowl game. Did that kind of ratchet up a little bit in your mind?
It definitely did, man. More so, it was like me, like, man, how could the Detroit community, how could Detroit fans remember Shakel Brown? I want to get him a show definitely for the last time. My family, everybody who's ever watching this game, I definitely want them to remember like his last college game. He went out and left it off the field. So, but definitely that was my first bowl game ever. I played 3 years of Division I football, and that was my first bowl game. So me being able to get a ring right there, and things like that, like different things. That felt pretty good for me to finish my season 12-2 and get those wins. And last one with my brothers, man, that felt amazing. I'm not gonna lie. We had went through so much, so it was a great feeling to definitely get that W and end off my senior year that way.
I always want fans to understand that college football means something different to every individual player that's out there, and you can't just put us all in one box and just put us under the same blanket. How one sees a game may be something different, how another sees a game. And
Yes.
what I like about your journey and your story, and just been talking to you here and getting to know you, it shows that you really love football. What is it about football you love the most?
It just taught me brotherhood, man. Back in 2021, I lost my mother, and the guys that was really there for me was my teammates. Like, it was, of course, my family as well, but the guys I was around every day was my teammates, and those guys, they showed me that, man. No matter what's going on in your life, you could talk to me. Some of my best friends I met those guys 3 years ago when I first got to Detroit, and those like some of my best friends in the entire world. And I just met these guys 3 years ago. I could depend on them guys for anything. So it definitely brought my love for the game back. I'm out here having fun with guys I know who will lay everything on the line for me, their entire body. If a man would do that for you, they'll do anything for you, and I do the same for them. So that definitely brought my love for the game back, because I know it's a brotherhood. I know, these guys will do anything for me.
And that's gonna last you, for the rest of your life. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm older than you. I'll be 42 in May,
Yes,
and
sir.
I run into a college teammate of mine. We pick up right where we left off when we was 18, 19, 20 years old. Just talking about random stuff like in the locker room, just craziness. But it's that type of brotherhood that you form, and that bond that you form as well. And Shaquille, listen, man, it's been great to get to know you. I'm glad to see you going out there with a positive mindset and a positive attitude, because that's only going to yield the success for you moving forward. Where can people follow along with you on your journey as you get ready for the NFL?
You could, my Instagram. I post a lot on my Instagram. I'm not really too big on Twitter because my other Twitter got hacked, but you still could, follow me on there at Shakel Brown 21. On Instagram, you just look up Shakel Brown, it's gonna pop up. I'm on TikTok as well. I don't really post football stuff on there, but I'm on TikTok at Shakel Brown on there too. So anywhere, any social media, you can just look up Shakel Brown, Facebook, anywhere.
Let me let me find out you doing TikTok dances out there on TikTok.
No, I'm not. I'm not there. I'm big that, but I'll be on there though. Yeah.
Man, listen, I appreciate you taking time, man. It's been fun, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.